All right, ready to go, sir.
You ready, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. The Respiratory Therapist and Polysomnographic Technologist Licensing Board meeting is convening at 9:19 a.m. on March 17, 2023 at the Health Licensing Office in Salem, Oregon by telephone conference call. I will now call roll. Jacob Espinosa, aye. Michael LaFour.
Aye.
Sarah Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Mark Easby. Absent. Michael Erickson.
Aye.
Okay, and the rest are absent. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to do not use the chat feature during the meetings. Public members wishing to speak must first sign in on the roster sheet available. For public members calling in on the public phone line, please email April Fleming at april.fleming@dhsoha.state.or.us and provide your first and last name. Public and interested parties' feedback may be heard during the public interested parties' feedback period if indicated on the agenda. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and the protocols when conducting board business. The meeting is called to order. All right, Bob.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Bob Bothwell, the Interim Director at the Health Licensing Office. Welcome this morning. Happy Friday. The chair, members of the board, first item on, or the second item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Everybody's had an opportunity to review it, and if everybody agrees to it, if we can get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. LaFour.
And a second.
Erickson, I second the motion.
Okay, the motion has been made to approve the agenda. I'll call roll once again. Jacob Espinosa, aye. Michael LaFour.
Aye.
Sarah Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Michael Erickson.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda has been approved.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, again. So starting with the director's report, I'll go down the list of who we have on the board. Looks like we have a full board. Let's see, we have Jacob Espinosa, who's the chair, is in his current second full term, and that expires February 29th, 2024, and cannot reappoint. Mark Easby is in his first full term, which expires November 24, 2023. He can reappoint. And we have Michael Erickson, first full term. Term expires May 31, 2025, and you can reappoint. Sarah Fitzpatrick, you're in your first full term, which did expire in December of 2022, and you can reappoint. Do we need to want Derek to reach out to you, or has the process already started?
No, I think I need to start the process.
Okay, so Derek's on the line. He'll probably take a note, and so he'll reach out to you to help you get going on the process. Thank you very much. And Lori Freemark is in her first. It'll be a partial first term, November 30, 2023. It's when that expires, and she can reappoint. Michael LaFour, second full term, expired, I don't know if this is a typo or not, 2020.
It is not a typo.
Okay, well, thank you for sticking around.
It's been open for a while, so.
Okay.
Dr. LaFour, do you have any recommendations for someone who may be interested that you could email me?
I could probably email you a couple names. Yes.
That would be amazing. This is Sammy.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I'll send an email to remind you.
Yeah, that would be good. That will be the best way to do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. LaFour.
Okay, thanks, Sammy. And then
I'll just real quick. I also have some positions that perhaps may be interest. Can I pass them on to Sammy?
sure.
Okay.
Send it to Sammy, myself.
I'll just
Derek,
I'll send out an email to the whole board just saying, if you know anyone, let us know.
there you go.
Okay.
Sammy. And last on the list is Pablo Herrera Fuentes, is his first full term, and that expires. If everybody could mute their phones, please. Pablo's first full term expires November 24, 2023, and he can reappoint. Okay. Next on my report will be the board report. First, if you're looking at your computer, it's slide 9, and the first slide is the number of licenses issued. Fiscal year 2023, which began July 1 of 2022 and will end June 30 of 2023. Thus far, we've issued 359 licenses. License renewals in fiscal year 2023, again, it's July 1 of 22 through June of this year, the end of June of this year, 2023. We've renewed 1,280 licenses, and the vast majority have all been online, which is great. Polysomnography licenses renewed in the same time frame, 203, and again, the vast majority are all online with the renewals. By age and gender, it appears to be a female-dominated profession, and looks like it's a relatively young profession, with the bulk of them between 26 and 50. Polysomnography, same. The age and gender looks like it's pretty much par. Also a younger profession, between 26 and 50 as well. Licensing trends, we're up to, in quarter 3 of fiscal year 2023, 2,230 respiratory therapy licenses. Polysomnography has dropped a little bit, and that could be just renewals, but went from 281 in quarter 2 of 2023 down to 269 in quarter 3. We did issue a few COVID provisional licenses to get us through some difficult times, and those have all trailed off, so we'll probably pull that slide out. We had issued 4. We had temporary licensure, we're down to 7 in this current quarter of this year. Testing results, I don't know if how interested the board is in this. If this slide needs to remain in, you tell me, please. But looks like we have for Polysom, we have a pretty good pass rate with only a couple fails, and with the Oregon laws and rules, everybody passes that gets a license. Everybody who passes does get a license. That was in 2021, and down in 2023, we've again, the pass rate is high for polysomnography. And for respiratory therapy, again, it's a high pass rate, and with a total of 76 passing. Your financials, we were, if you recall, in the red back in 2020, and since we've made up some ground from 109,000 in fiscal year 2022 to current went from 109 to 33,959. The shared assessment, this board pays 3.24%, and their small board percentage is 20%, and then a fraction of examination fees at 0.03%. Any questions on this report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the regulatory report. Trampus? You muted and your microphone is.
I pushed it. It just didn't unmute. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is Trampus Shuck, the interim regulatory manager, and I'm here to go over the regular report with everyone. So as you can see, there's still 3 bienniums that show up on this report, but the 2019 biennium, we don't have any open cases left in that biennium. All of them are closed. So we had that was a big bump year. We had some administrative things that opened up a bunch of cases. That's why that number is really high. Had to do with surveys and relicensing, that kind of thing. But those all got worked through. And then, we probably had a more normal amount. As you can see, the trend is about 18 to 21, around 20 complaints a year. So the 2021 biennium still has, of the 18 that came in, 9 are still open. I can tell you that a couple of those cases actually are being presented today to be closed, and a couple of them are just in the administrative phase of closing. So that number is actually probably lower to actually be around 4 or 5 that are actually still currently being investigated in that biennium. And then we have our brand new biennium, or the biennium we're in. I guess it's not that brand new anymore, 2023. And we have, of the 21 that have come in, we still have 12 of them open. So does anybody have any questions about investigations or this report, or where we are in general with regards to regulatory?
Yeah, this is Espinosa. Just a quick question, what's the percentage, and you might not know this off the top of your head, but of complaints that are leading nowhere, that are just very easily closed, and which ones are significant, meaning that we had to do, some actual long work ahead.
Right. So, I guess I would say that my sense of things are that we don't get a lot that are just completely open and closed. Like sometimes a case comes in and the process for the investigative protocol and the process for these cases is we get a complaint that comes in, and then we, at the administrator level, between me and the AS2s, the administrative specialists, and the intake people, look at it, and we determine if we even have jurisdiction. Is this a complaint? Is the complaint actually alleging any kind of violation of the laws or rules or practice standards? And then if it doesn't, or it doesn't have enough information, or it's just something that's just completely off the wall, then we close it administratively, and it doesn't even get assigned to an investigator at that point. That is pretty low with respiratory therapists. It doesn't happen a lot. It happens in other boards a little more often, but respiratory therapy, the cases that come in generally get assigned to an investigator. So, and most of them get some level of investigation, whether that be, just going back in and looking at if it's kind of a case that's kind of on the edge regarding jurisdiction. We will do some preliminary investigation. We will contact complainants, things like that, and see where we are. Again, usually these cases kind of go through the full process, and they're either, something that we've already kind of set up a schedule for, like this could be a self-reporting of an arrest or something like that, or a conviction. It could be something that we did in an audit and found that somebody wasn't completely truthful on their application. But yeah, I mean, they all kind of go through a process. If you look and see the ones that are called that are labeled as services provided and safety and sanitation issues, those combined are probably going to be more of the practice standard type situations, where there's actually that somebody alleged that there was some type of an actual practice standard issue going on, like somebody did something incorrectly or bad, or while they were practicing respiratory therapy versus they had some kind of a license concern or something like that. So you can kind of see in the numbers there. We had quite a few actually that came in that felt a little more services provided. You can see we had 10 that came in of the 21 that were labeled that way over this last biennium. So there was definitely a little bump in those, and those do tend to get a little more complicated because we're looking at things that are a little more that need to be interpreted, need to have a little bit more time, might need an SME, will need a little more board review than something that's just, they didn't report a DUI or something on their renewal. So that answer your question?
Yeah, that's, and just a follow-up question, not related, but I'm not seeing 2022. It looks like we're going 2019, 2021 to 2023, or is that just a mislabel? 2023 is 2022.
The bienniums cover a time frame of 2 years, so these are bienniums. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so when you see that there were 18 in the 2021 biennium, that was really only 10 a year. So you don't get, a ton. That's for a 2-year period.
So this is LaFour, and I know that the percentage of polysomnography techs versus RTs are probably a 10th of what they are. Do we get many filings, complaints, etc. on the PSG tech side of things?
Well, you can kind of actually see that is kind of laid out on here. Like, for example, we have.
So as a clarification, I'm not seeing any slide deck right now. Is there somewhere that I should be seeing this, or
it's
is
on
it
page
shared?
20.
Is it?
The report is on 2021 of the meeting materials, page 21 of the meeting materials. And it does break it out. We currently have, it just depends on the kind of the year. If you were to look at this and you were to see for the 2023 biennium, we had 1 complaint on polysomnography. In the 2021 biennium, we had 4 that are still open and 1 that was closed. So we had 5 come in. Versus, of the 18, 5 of them were polysom, and of the 2023 biennium, it looks like 1 of the 21 were polysom.
Trampus, this is Bob.
Yeah.
Polysomnography, what type of complaints are you getting? Are they licensing or practice?
I think it's a mixed bag. I don't think it's just one or the other. We have both come in, and they can be, I off the top of my head, I can think of a few that are like, CPAP related settings and things like that, and I can think of a few that have been mandatory self-reporters, where we're having to do some kind of fitness determination on a conviction. I can also think of a few that were licensing concerns where somebody was working without a license or that kind of thing. So it kind of runs the gamut. There isn't one big thing that's going on with them, I don't think.
Okay. Chair, members of the board, any other questions for Trampus?
All right.
Seeing none. Chair, are you ready to move into the policy piece?
Hello, this is Sammy. I will be brief today, and I'm not going to be on screen because I'm not organized over here with my face, so not this time. Briefly, what things that would affect, not indirectly affect you guys, would be in getting an additional board for sign language interpreters, which is would require us license 5 different license types. It would have a 7-member board, 7-member, Bob, 7-member, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, 7-member board. It has page. It's had a public hearing and a work session, and it's been referred to Ways and Means because there would be likely a fiscal impact. Every year we keep adding additional boards, literally since 2010, I think, maybe before that. And we haven't added any additional policy staff, so it just keeps piling up. So hopefully maybe looking at something like that, maybe another licensing rep. Another additional program that may be added is the it would be the dental laboratory program. So it wouldn't have a board, just be under HLO's authority. And it's Senate Bill 412. It's had a public hearing and a work session, and also a due pass to Ways and Means for the same reason of as the sign language interpreters. The other one that kind of roundabout is 2665, which is adopting rules to establish rates that temporary staffing agencies may charge to receive from an entity that engages temporary staffing agencies. So this is kind of an ongoing thing. HLO is currently in the rulemaking process, writing rules for temporary staffing agencies who need to be licensed. Is it licensed or registered?
Authorizations issued, yeah.
Authorized to practice in Oregon, whether they be out of state or in Oregon. Lots of conversation around entities, multiple entities in one state, places, basically, what does that mean? So kind of more to come on that, but I'll make sure that you guys are kind of included in that list. As far as like letting people know about RTs and kind of what's going on in Oregon and how we're removing barriers, because we know there's not a lot of we're lacking in RTs. So being able to, in certain situations like a state of emergency, being able to get somebody authorized from out of state very quickly, like almost immediately, and then people who are inactive. So I just reported all of that to listserv through HA, and they kind of just send out information to the world about healthcare professions and what's available at the time. That's all I have legislatively. Just to circle back with Sarah, because I asked her basically a subject matter question about nitrous oxide and the use of that by RTs for basically anesthesia. Right? And we've decided that we're at this time not going to answer that question. We're gonna move on. Not enough information. There's other states that do it, so I've just reported out to that organization that's the way we're going for at this point. So, and I gave her all of her options. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Sammy on the legislative piece? Okay. Moving along. Chair, if you could read us into public interested parties feedback. We do have one individual on the phone. Emily, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, stand by. Chair, if you could read us into public interested parties feedback. If you don't have it up, I can do it.
At this time, the Respiratory Therapist and Polydemographic Technologist Licensing Board will hear public interested party feedback. Members of the public, please wait until you have been recognized. Once recognized, please state your name and affiliation to the board for the record.
Emily, did you want to make a public comment? Oh, okay. Chair, I don't know if you heard her. She did not want to make a public comment.
Okay.
So Next on the agenda is moving into executive session, and that'll probably take us the better part of an hour, if not a little more.
Very good. Are we ready, Bob?
Sure. We have a script for you to read, please.
The Respiratory Therapist and Polysomnographic Technologist Licensing Board will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F and ORS 676.595 for the purpose of considering information exempt from the public discourse at 9:44 a.m. on March 17th, 2023. Representatives of the news media shall be allowed to attend the executive session by conference call and will be provided further calling instructions shortly. The public phone line will be muted for the duration of the executive session. Are there any representatives of the news media on the public phone line?
Hi, on the public phone. This is Bob Bothwell at the Health Licensing Office. Is there any news media on the phone? Hearing none.
Okay, recognizing there is no news media in attendance, the public phone line will be muted for the duration of the executive session. We will return to open session before taking any final action or making any final decisions. It is estimated that the board will return to public session, we'd say about an hour or so.
Yeah.
So about 10:45 a.m. Please be aware that it is possible that the board's executive session will last longer than the 10:45 a.m. mentioned. If the public has any questions about whether the board is still in executive session, then the public can contact April Fleming at april.fleming@dhsoha.state.or.us. We are now in executive session.
Phone's muted. And give me a second. We're gonna. Oh, I started it. Okay.